Hi, it's Larry Gaines, and this is the Daily Aftermarket Outlook for November 26th, Monday, 2012. First off, I'd like to get started. Here's the S&P futures, and if you can see here from the high we set back in September the 14th to the low, which was back last on the 16th of November, we've had a retracement to the 50% retracement level at 1402. So the next area of major resistance right now, we're climbing back aboard or above the 100-day moving average. So we had a close above that for 2 days in a row. We're above the 200, so we're back above the 100. We're on the 50% retracement. So if we consolidate here a little bit longer, it looks like it's going to move and try to retest up here to the 618 right there, which comes in at 1417, and you can see all the resistance coming in here. So this is kind of the target zone here from 1402 to 1417. When it gets up to 1417, you also have the 50-day moving average up here. So we'll see how it goes, but right now the market's holding up quite well. Also, the cycle model has the market on the medium-term trend is up, and that went long on the 19th. So right here, still holding long. So it got a good entry, on a big major up day, good volume, but it got in around 1380, and now we're at 1404. So nice entry there. Now here's the intermediate term time frame. This is the time frame that I like to use for all of our swing trades. You can see I had a fantastic up move on the 23rd. Got in here, had a nice trend line break right there. Put that in real quick. So a really nice move up there. Came back down, went neutral, short, neutral, currently holding long. Came in long today. At 2 o'clock it went long. So back into an intermediate term uptrend. Now I also want to point out, here's the U.S. Dollar Index, and you can see that the dollar index topped out on the 16th. This was the exact day that the equity markets bottomed out. So it's totally correlated and inverse correlation. So as the dollar goes down, this makes equity, especially the U.S. equities, more valuable, or makes them cost less. So it makes the more demand, and you get the bids coming in. So it's negatively correlated. So an inverse correlation. So as the dollar goes down, U.S. equities go up. And right now we're just to the 50% retracement, coming into the 50-day moving average. Looks like can easily get down here to the 618 to try to retest that, and has great potential to get back down here to the lows. Now I'll show you the correlation with the NASDAQ 100 and the U.S. Dollar Index right now. Now the top chart right here, this is the UUP. This is the PowerShares U.S. Dollar Bull Index, and below here is the triple Q, the NASDAQ. So you can see that when the dollar bottomed on September the 14th, we also got a high on the Qs. So as you can see right now, we're coming off on the dollar index, and we could definitely easily get back down here to 2160, 2170 in this time frame, which has the negative reverse correlation should push the Qs potentially back up here to 66.43. So point that out. So follow your U.S. dollar index. If you don't have the dollar index, just follow UUP, and you can see the correlation. So as the dollar keeps getting weaker, this is good for the U.S. equities. Now here's the chart of the S&P 500, the SPX. This is the cash. Now on the weekly time frame, which we use for long-term trends, the cycle trend is still down. It's been down since the 12th of October. But this is based on a weekly time frame, so we're very close to going neutral. So we'll know that by the end of the week. So we may be coming very close to a neutral position here on the S&P 500. So we'll have to evaluate that towards the end. Here's the S&P 500, the daily time frame, which we call the medium-term time frame. Now from the low back in June to the high in September, we've got our Fibonacci levels. And we're the past 2 days we broke back above the 382 retracement. So we're very close to getting back to a 25% retracement level from the June low to the high here in September. Now our cycle model is long. It went long here on the 19th at the close and still holding long. We're right now coming into this 100-day moving average right here. The yellow line. It's back above the 200, right into the 100-day. You're going to have big resistance coming in up here at the 1420 level, which is your 25% retracement, and you also have the 50-period moving average up here. So just like the S&P or the ES, which we saw earlier, we're getting into this area where it's going to be a little bit tougher climb. You'll have more people looking at, taking profits up into this resistance zone. But the fiscal cliff, if they ever resolve that, that could get this market ignited. So we'll see how it goes. But right now the trend is up on the medium-term trend as well. Here's the NASDAQ 100, the NQ. On a weekly time frame, we've been short on a long-term weekly time frame. We've been short since the 5th of October, had a huge move down from 2806 using the cycle model. And last week on the close, the NASDAQ 100 went neutral. So it's currently neutral, still not long, but neutral. So had a great move down from 2809 down to 2628. So a lot of movement there. Great pick, pretty much the top using the cycle model on that weekly time frame. Now here's the NASDAQ daily time frame. This is what we use for our medium-term trend. Currently, the trend is up on the medium term based on our cycle model. The system went long on the 19th of November, still holding long. We broke back above this 8 EMA. We're up here to the coming into the 200 moving average right here. This should be some pretty good resistance coming in tomorrow. It'll be interesting to see how this fares, but right now the trend's still up. It's going to go right into that 200-day moving average at 25 or 26.58, and then it gets into the 100 here at 26.93. So a lot of price action in here. You're going to see some really good resistance tomorrow coming in here. It could break above, but we'll see how it does at the end of the day on a closing basis. And right now you're back above the 382. So we closed above the 382 retracement today, and then you've got that 50% coming in right at 26.79. So system is still holding long, but coming into some formidable resistance. Now here's the NASDAQ 100, the 60-minute time frame. We call this their intermediate term time frame. And again, this is what I use for swing trades. Had a great swing trade set up here back on the 16th. Broke signal there, broke that trend line, broke another trend line, up she goes. So that particular swing trade nailed it perfectly at 25.22, got out at 25.86, about 60 points there. Then pretty much sideways action, went long again, had a little bit of move up here, went short, went long, so pretty much sideways action. Had a nice pop to the upside from this long back last on the 23rd, and then went short on the 25th, went neutral again today, and then it's long currently right now. So intermediate term trend, another long signal to the upside. Some little bit of movement up, but watch as we get into that 200-day moving average that I showed you just a minute ago. Now lastly, I'll show you the weekly for Apple. This is a long-term trend. We've had the trend on Apple since the 5th of October, just like the NASDAQ, in a short or downtrend. And it, again, like the NASDAQ, covered and went neutral on the close last week on Friday. So currently in a neutral trend, no trend, right now in neutral. We're back above the 382 retracement from the high back in September, where it came in at 705, back to the low here at 506. We're above the 382, and we're going to get into some bigger resistance up here at the 50% retracement level, about 602. We also filled a gap today, which I'll show you right now. Power cycle trading model is long. It went long on the 19th at the close. We filled this gap today right in here, which came in at the low of 580.09. Filled that gap, broke another trend line. A really strong day. I was surprised that it broke right through this trend line. Now we're coming up to the 200-day moving average, just like the NASDAQ 100. So 597.74 should see some pretty good resistance there. and then see how it handles that time frame. But right now the system is still long on the medium term. So the last chart here is the again Apple on the intermediate term, 60-minute time frame. Had a great swing trade long on the 16th, broke that trend line. Our model went long, nailed it big time. So we got long around 525 and did not get out until right here about 560. So huge move up. Had a short, then neutral, pretty much break even, and now it's long again on the 23rd. So it got long at the close on the 23rd. This closing bar right here at 571.5. Right now 589. So nailing it backwards and forth. So great movement on Apple. So as Apple goes, so goes the market. So watch Apple tomorrow going in the 200-day. Good luck trading, and I'll talk to you guys after Market Power Outlook tomorrow. One last thing, if you've not received my top 15 option trading strategies, please just go to my website, powercycletrading.com. Put your name, email address, get my top 15 option trading strategies for free.